You will remember me. You give me a uniform. You give me a number on my back. I'll give you the guts. I've got the law. Good God!
Hello, everybody. I'm coming with you guys with somber news. This is the Spinner Rack. I'm here with Petey. I'm here with Cal. And we've just heard from various news sources, CNN, Washington Post, Instagram, of course, is blowing up, that our man, Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, has passed away of colon cancer. It's really preliminary news, real early, but we just wanted to just get out there and at least give you guys some info that we know and just express our sorrow at the passing of, one of the guys who, a great actor who's done quite a bit in the amount of film that he's done. Let me pass it on to some of my boys so they can talk to you a little bit about it, and then we'll go on just talking about basically Boseman and Black Panther's impact, as well as some of the roles that he's done. Petey, Cal.
I guess I can start. I guess I can say some things. This is terrible news. This is very tough to hear. I mean, if you saw the Five Bloods, he did look thin in that. I think the internet, with all this other crazy stuff, they made sort of a big deal about him not saying, but it's his right to be private that he was going through something like this. So as a big fan of his work and his talent, and bringing the Black Panther to life, bringing T'Challa to life, which is something I was worried about as a capital F fan, being crabby. I'm like, what is this? How tall is he? Is he going to look like a small guy next to Captain America? How small is he going to look next to Captain America? That's all. It's going to be like that. And then the Civil War, him not having the mask on, it felt like in the Kirby comic book, he would routinely have the mask off. So him having a big fight with Winter Soldier and then doing the weirdest thing where it's like, oh, I could run up the steps, but no, I'm going to go the long way, jump over for this dynamic scene that was so amazing. That made you feel like this, you haven't even seen him really in the costume. You really felt it. So, I mean, it's a talent. It was in, Jackie Robinson in 42, Get On Up. That's an amazing movie. I mean, it was kind of panned, but sight unseen, but it was a very strong piece, and just talent all around. Obviously you had the Black Panther movie, which is, it was a long-awaited and exceeded expectation, as Christopher Priest said about his Black Panther run. Chadwick Boseman also did the same. So I'll pass it on to Cal. Oh, yep, Cal. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realized how great of an actor he was. If you look at the films that he was in, because a lot of these films he had to take on different accents, and most of the time when I'm looking, it's not an American actor, which he was, who they would call for these type of roles. They usually be getting British actors who can come in and do all of these American accents, Southern accents, Northern accents, if you will, and they have the acting chops to go along with it. And Chadwick Boseman was the opposite. If you saw him in Gods of Egypt, he was able to, again, he was doing an accent there and still acting out that particular role. And he did this in more than one film, because he had to do this in Jackie Robinson. He had to do that in James Brown. James Brown, which I don't think he gets enough credit for the role. I mean, that was just a surrealist type of film on so many levels, but that is one of the best openings in film. If you look at it, though, that opening is really strong. So I was always very curious about that, but he was, very good in all of those films. Just a really strong actor. I'm very, it's like really out of left field, like a gut punch to find out that he was passing away. I don't think anybody has the right to say, oh, we should have known. It's his business, okay? It's his business. People seem to forget that we used to regard people who kept their personal matters personal and private. We used to have a high regard for people not just throwing their laundry on TikTok and showing people how it dried. and he seems to be cut from that old school cloth where this was his own matter, and he wanted to handle it in that particular way. I also don't want to say that, oh, Disney dragged its feet. We should have had the film made faster. I mean, those things come when they're going to come, and we have to remember that he appeared as Black Panther 4 times in the amount, in the time that he, was cast for the role. So, the legacy is still there. But comic book fan. I'm 100% comic book fan from now until I die. And I had the same questions. I did not want to see anybody in that role who I thought was not going to be Black Panther. I was like, no, the Black Panther needs to have a sense of royalty, of regalness about him. I don't want to see him looking up to anybody else. He needs to be able to look at these other guys in the eye. I don't want to hear about, oh, it's okay, we can put him in the role because it's about the island. No short dudes looking like 5 inches short. I was like, no, I want somebody who looks physically imposing enough, all of that. And Chadwick Boseman was all of those things. It's rare that it was like, hey, you know what, that guy does it, that guy right over there does it. Everything that we would have asked for. The physical, he had the physical nature, the acting chops, could do the accent, okay, had the regal bearing, wasn't short, just perfect for the role. I mean, I'm certain they'll have to recast. That's just going to have to happen at the end of the day. But whoever comes after him has some really big shoes to fill. Really big shoes to fill at the end of the day. Just a great actor, and again, just a real gut punch. Definitely was not ready for this news at all.
I gotta agree with you 100%, Kyle and Petey. This guy was humble. He lived a private life, like he said, like old school actors. He had his life, and he had his life outside of Hollywood. He didn't follow everything he was doing. I recently saw, I think he went on Instagram where he did something a couple of months back for I think it was Jackie Robinson's anniversary. And he came out, and I think a lot of people commented how thin he was at the time. And of course, I guess it's because people didn't really get into it or whatever. But the fact that he was, he followed up that movie, Jackie Robinson, and continued to stay connected to the role and connected to the organization. I think they raised millions of dollars for PPE, for nurses, for hospitals, for doctors. I thought that was extremely, generous of him. To use his I guess his media, his personality, his fame to help push that, and again, continue with the role. And he picked some pretty defined roles in African American history. You can say Jackie Robinson, the first African American to be in baseball, the king of the Godfather of soul himself, and then T'Challa, Black Panther. I mean, these are iconic roles. Any one of them alone could be it, and he was able to do all 3. And this is amongst just other bodies of work that he had. I think he was, he's only 43, which is relatively young, an actor just getting into his prime in Hollywood. And like you said, it was a gut punch. It was a shocker. I didn't believe it. But then, I started seeing the stories from some reputable news sources such as CNN, I believe it was Fox, Washington Post. And I was like, you know what? This probably is legit. And so I had to reach out to the guys and Cal and PD guys said, let's do this today. And some of our biggest shows have been Black Panther shows, and it's helped us, and we want to say at least thank you for what you've done, and show respect what he represented, because we're big comic book guys, and he came in and filled those shoes or gloves or mask in something that we thought that he was going to be something very difficult no matter what you did. So I just want to say Wakanda forever. Petey?
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. And I just hope your friends and family are safe, and our condolences to everyone out there. Again, friends, loved ones, even your fans, because you will be missed.
Me and Mars, we did something on the Black Panther where we got to do a screening on the movie, and then we had a Q&A afterwards. And when we did this, we also talked with people, and there was a lot of people pulled to the Michael B. Jordan Killmonger thing, which everyone is into the anti-hero. And then there was one small boy with his mother, and he was like, why are they doing this to T'Challa? Why is he doing this? And he's like, I want more, like basically saying I want more of the hero. And I said, yes, I want it too. And the people like, no, what's the name's point of view? But we had one boy that was like, see the hero and not see the anti-hero, which is, the anti-hero is always set up to,
the villain.
But they look at it as an anti-hero. Thank you for correcting me. Yes, they look at him as an anti-hero when he was just a psycho, a mercenary. But
no, that was the great thing about that movie, because he was everything that we're supposed to reject. This is like, okay, this is the guy over here, and imagine if he got to do what he wanted to do. Imagine if he got to do what he wanted to do. Okay. And it would have been the same situation. I remember, Martin Luther King was saying, yeah, we could arm every black person here and we would still lose. So it's not something that we could do. He could arm himself with all that stuff from Wakanda and they would lose. The Avengers would come in there and they would just, nullify everything. It may be hard fought, but that would have been the end of it. And the fact that so many people embraced it is so scary. But I guess it also shows, it also showed, no, I can't, I'm not going to mitigate it. It was just scary at the end of the day. It's like, why are you guys going with this when you had such a great example in T'Challa? And, this guy's the king. And, what it means to be king, what it means to actually care, about a country and a people. And then, they just come with this nonsense at the end of the day. But the villain. The villain.
Well, I would also add.
Let's focus on Chadwick Boseman, what he's.
We're focusing on his part in the movie, and as the king and how regal he was, being able to even accept Killmonger in there and say, "Hey, I'm going to leave you a quote." When he said, "Traitors," she should have been like, "Traitors should just be." No, he opened up. He criticized his ancestors and his father specifically. So he did as much as he could for Killmonger. He was
compassionate to the point where he allowed him to contest the throne, where another king would have been like, just kill him, get him out of here. He's like, what is it? Your father came and betrayed the country. He got what was coming to him. And he was like, no, he felt guilty over the fact that we left this guy. He was part of us and we should have brought him back. We should not have left him there. And again, that was wonderfully rendered by Chadwick Boseman at the end of the day. Just a real, what's pulsing now, they're looking at, this has happened so quickly, and already I'm seeing movement towards Shuri, that they're thinking, maybe she'll take over the role now, and she'll be Black Panther. Now, mind you, I'm certain they were going to do that at some point, like at least put her in the suit and have her jump around a bit, because that's what happened in the comic. However, he did such a good job, and he was the realization of all of my Black Panther dreams when it came to seeing this film done in the character. And now he's gone, and you're thinking, okay, fine, we just got him. We just got him. We just got Black Panther through Chadwick Boseman, and now he's gone. And then you got to wonder, is that it? So I'm like really conflicted about the whole thing. The character, Chadwick Boseman passing away, and what can I say? 2020 has just been a gut punch year.
It sure has.
It's just been a gut punch. There were a whole bunch of people who hated 2019, and they were like, yeah, we can't wait for this year to be over. Well, yeah, they spoke too soon, because we got 2020 on top of all that stuff we got. And we still got, another 5 months before we close out? So, hey.
It's pretty interesting because, this movie was the highest grossing, Black Panther was the highest grossing movie in the U.S. of that, I think ever that year when it came out. And it was pretty phenomenal that, it made so much money. It connected with people in a cultural way. It connected with people outside of, particularly with the African-American community, but also others who came in to see it, the comic hero, and even worldwide. They made a ton of money. And, the Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther African attire, just coming out there, and it was a cultural phenomenon when it came out, and I thought that was one of the great things, because you had Chadwick Boseman, and of course, and the entire crew, who came out and also helped to support the movie and raise this awareness, for people who weren't comic book fans and people who weren't into superheroes, they just felt this connection with him. And he, because of his acting chops and his background in being in some of the most iconic African American movies, you definitely see this, and it's very impressive. And the fact that probably this could be one of the reasons his illness, why the movie may have been delayed. I'm not saying that is, but I'm just saying it could have been. I never understood why it wasn't done right away. If we were going to talk about the movies, because it was such a big hit. But I think it was scheduled to come out in 2022 or 2021 when this whole pandemic hit, and they pushed it back another year. So I don't even know if they did any filming at the moment. I know up until late October 2019, they were still working on the script. So it's and then the whole pandemic hit in February. I mean March, February.
You got to remember Endgame absorbed a lot of time. Those two films absorbed a lot of Endgame and Infinity War absorbed a lot of time. And you also lost your director. Ryan Coogler was the director on the first film. So you lost your director, you have to get the new director. So all of those things just absorb time. And then, of course, once you throw COVID into the mix, all of those things just absorb a lot of time. But, if anybody who would say, anybody wants to say different, we had him in Civil War. Okay. We had him in Black Panther, and we had him in the two Avengers films. So, without a doubt, there's still a good amount of work. There's still a good amount of work there to be appreciated. I would, I'm on board with anybody who says, look, I wanted to see him in another film. I really wanted to see him in another Black Panther film with less of a supporting cast, so it could be more focused on him. Okay, I found that there was a better focus on him in Civil War than there was in the Black Panther film because we had all these other moving parts and they still made it work. But I was like, okay, now we know what Wakanda looks like. Now you can take everybody else and put them to the side. Bye, Mom. Bye, Shuri. Bye, all of these Dora Milaje. Goodbye, everybody. And this is just going to be a T'Challa movie. That's it. Maybe Everett K. Ross. Let's do a little buddy movie with the two of them, and that'll be the end of it at the end of the day. And, now, it just doesn't happen. I mean, the comic fan of me is raging right now.
But, I think we also have to give him credit for being an actor of his stature, that he was able to work in a more ensemble setting, because many actors, coming off some big movies, or movies, very notable movies, would have said, hey, this isn't working for me. He was like, what? I guess he was more understanding of that and worked well with the cast and crew on what he was doing. Like I said, he's a humble guy. He wasn't the guy to say, hey, everything has to go my way. And he definitely talked about the comics. So I don't know how much he read, but he definitely talked about it. So he saw what the role was and what he was doing. And I think, but he also understands the importance of where he stood and those around him. So I have no regrets on what they did with the role and shared.
Well, I'm gonna add on to both of you guys' point and lean more towards Cal and say what he should have done was what you were saying was the what's the name, the William Shatner thing. See the scene and say, this scene where I die, I want to almost kill Killmonger, and then he cheats. And then he kills me. But make sure I have him on the ground and I'm choking him. I won. So show everyone, we pause to see I won. That's what a lot of times the leads do, as Mars was saying. Whereas he was just like, let's let it happen. If I
that's what should have happened. That's what should have happened. That's exactly the way it should have happened.
We're rewriting this whole thing. But that's a testament. That's always go to like Denzel Washington and just to jump quickly on Mo Better Blues, where he didn't actually beat up Shadow, Wesley Snipes, where Wesley Snipes got beat up by everybody, by Christopher Walken, by who's that? Ice-T, all these people he could clearly.
Michael Jackson.
But then next thing you know, like, what's the name? He picks up Denzel. I was like, how did the scene stay in the thing? Oh, Denzel let it go. Or maybe he let Spike do his work and didn't say, you know what, I should clearly beat up him because everyone else got to. But, that shows a sign of being mature about it. Because, even Travolta's looked at the Saturday Night Fever and said, hey, you should have more of me in this. Like, in his edit, this should be more of my scenes,
Yeah. Anything else, guys, you want to say before we wrap it up?
Hey, rest in peace. And
Yes.
Wakanda forever.
Yes.
Yeah, and condolences to the family.
Yes.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever. Wakanda forever.
Spin Iraq out.
Oh.